Hello everyone, my name is Harry and thank you for watching this webinar titled Deliver Your Software as a Service Web Application the Right Way. Within the next few minutes, I'll be discussing about how you should deliver your web application in a cost-effective and highly productive manner. And we still have a lot of slides to go over, so let's get started. After developing the application, the next logical step the developer is expected to take is to deliver that application to its targeted users. Now, delivery is a very important segment that plays a significant role in the success of the application and its developer. This is where the availability and the scalability of the application primarily depends on. That's why it is of great importance that it has to be done carefully, because if not, worst case scenario, the developer is going to be spending a lot of time, money, and effort without getting the outcome he or she was expecting. Now, there are two ways to deliver an application online. First is to set up a dedicated infrastructure, and second is to outsource the infrastructure and its management to a third party or to a platform as a service provider. Now let's go ahead and talk more about the first and the typical approach of delivering a web application, which is to set up a dedicated infrastructure. Now, what does it take to set up your own application's environment? Number one, you need to invest on an inventory of hardware and software components. If you were to take this approach, make sure that you have a really huge budget, because this is going to cost you a fortune. Setting up a dedicated infrastructure requires you to build your own well-ventilated data center, purchase servers, and buy all other sophisticated and expensive devices necessary to establish a stable, secured, and a scalable environment for your application. Number two, you need to hire a team of system administrators who will monitor and manage the infrastructure in your application. One way of ensuring a superb user experience is to keep your application at its best, and this can be achieved by diligently following a looping series of tasks, constantly updating and patching your environment, round-the-clock monitoring and quickly responding to alerts, and configuring and optimizing the infrastructure. Now, these are just few of all the tedious tasks of a system administrator. Though hiring system administrators will most definitely set your mind free from all of these tasks, but doing so will have you worried about all the labor expenses. So if you're not willing to spend this much, then you might want to consider managing the infrastructure yourself. Surely this will help you save money, but definitely not time. So if you do decide to manage the infrastructure yourself, you'll be in an unpleasant situation where you won't have enough time to streamline your application, because most of your time will be spent managing the infrastructure. Now let's move on to the next slide and talk about the disadvantages of this delivery method based on these requirements. The disadvantages are high startup costs, high maintenance costs, and it's time and effort consuming. So basing on these disadvantages, you can say that setting up a dedicated infrastructure is not the right way to deliver your web application. So now let's talk about the second delivery method, which is the outsourcing of the infrastructure and its management. Probably one of the most critical aspects in this method is how to choose the ideal platform as a service provider. But how do you exactly do that? Simple. You should provide a complete and fully managed environment for your application. Breaking this down, the ideal platform as a service provider should offer a cost-effective service. Services should be offered to its customers at a reasonable price using a model that provides a fair, reliable, and pay-per-play calculation of billing charges. Second, security. The service provider should put in place a set of security measures to protect critical components of the application, such as the database and the application servers. Third is 24/7 monitoring and support. Every corner of the environment has to be monitored, both automated and manual, for 24 hours a day and 7 days a week. The service provider should also have a support team that's always ready to provide technical assistance to customers. And fourth, should be a fully configured and fully managed hosting environment. The service should be equipped with all of the necessary hardware and software components your application need to run smoothly. So that's the kind of provider that you should be looking for. But you know what? Your search is over. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Morph AppSpace, a complete and fully managed hosting environment for your web application. With Morph AppSpace, you don't have to worry about startup costs, security, high maintenance costs. You don't have to wake up late at night to respond to system alerts, and you'll never ever have to purchase servers again. So let's move to the next slide and allow me to give you an overview of the design of Morph AppSpace. When somebody tries to access your application using your URL, our system makes sure that all requests are properly accommodated. With our intelligent front load balancers, the traffic is very well organized because they route incoming requests to the server with the least load. Then we have these self-contained environment called the Morph AppSpace cubes that contain the web and application servers. These cubes allow you to quickly scale in just a click of a button. Then we also have a private database where you can securely store all of your data. Then comes the management aspect of the service. We have designed mechanisms in the infrastructure that create backups of all your data every minute of every day. And aside from creating backups, we can help you keep your application running smoothly with our 24/7 monitoring that covers over 200 points in the environment. And that's how we can help you manage your application. You can get all of these and more for as low as $1 per day. And with that amount, you'll get an enterprise quality hosting environment, a fault-tolerant infrastructure, a fully configured environment, and a team of technical experts that will monitor and manage your application for you. Now that's the right way to deliver your web application. Cost-effective and highly productive. Deploy, deliver, and manage your web application now with Morph AppSpace, and you will never have to think about system administration ever again. And that's all for this webinar. Thank you for watching.